Hello. Finna get on the
Hi,
screen.
welcome.
Oh Lord. If you hear if you hear renovation stuff, that's what they doing.
Okay.
Jeez Louise. Ah, being melanated in America.
It's real.
How you doing, David? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I'm surviving like all of us.
Yes. My bad. I was speaking to somebody in the comment, but hi to you as well. I didn't mean to call you David. I wouldn't do, but yes. How are you, Steve? I hope all is well for real, for
Thank you.
real.
I am trying to get Jamali in here.
Okay.
Um,
I'll be right back in one moment.
no problem.
All right.
Okay, let me message him and see if he can request.
All right.
Is it is saying unable to join?
Hey, Duchess. Hi, my girl. I miss you. I dang it, this bitch. I miss you. That's my dog. With two ends. Two ends.
All right. So there we go.
Ashe, I'm receiving that energy. I'm always looking great on the outside, and I'm feeling in the inside, but we're gonna get it right.
Yeah. What's up, y'all?
Hey.
Hello, hello.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and thank you to both of you for taking the time today. I really appreciate it.
Yes,
For everyone who's in the room, I am C. Sando. I'm the digital director of One Off. Really excited to be hosting this Out the Frames today. And as we usually do, instead of me doing the bios, I'm going to have each of you talk about who it is that you are. So who wants to start?
I'll
go.
ahead and get it out the way. My name is Quinn with two N's. I'm a multi-creative artist based in Lafayette, Louisiana, by way of Houston, Texas. I'm a music artist. Um, Within Web3, I have minted music, photography, and I utilize storytelling in my real life to and in our culture to bring the artwork to life.
Jamali?
Yes. Hey, y'all. I'm Jamali, aka Jam Jam. I run Jam Jam Art, and I'm based here in Atlanta, Georgia. I am a muralist. I do paintings. I'm a recent pixel art maker, so that kind of 8-bit retro style. And I'm also a teacher, so teaching African American history through art, and especially African American art history, visually is my home right now.
Love that. Let's start by talking about how both of you were first introduced to NFTs. Quinn, do you want to start first? What was your first introduction? And then how long between then and when you minted your first piece?
So I got introduced to NFTs through I'm a member of Public Stock app, which is like a social media stock investment app, and some users on there are investors within NBA Top Shot. So I peeped that NBA Top Shot is non-fungible tokens on a Flow blockchain. And so when I started like piecing everything together, I was already a crypto investor. So when I started piecing everything together, I'm like, okay, this is what NFTs is. And then I continue to see more people getting into NFTs on public. Like it was through the public app that I found out honestly, like about what NFTs were. And then that was back in 2020 in the fall. And I minted my first NFT February, March of 2021 on mintables.com. I believe it's .com.
Jamali?
Right on. So for me, I had a similar journey as Quinn. I have been invested in the stock market and was just starting to understand Bitcoin and some of the other major cryptocurrencies that were out there. And by the time the fall came, I had really put kind of pressure on myself to like get to this money because I saw that some people were in the groups that I was in, like Discord groups, they were making NFT trades and flips and all that. And so I watched a YouTube video as I was learning about it, watching Gary Vee and like all these influencers, and I was led to the Ghetto Granny Club NFT, and that's a Black-led project who is focused around like just kind of remembering their grandmother who had passed, and so that connected with me a lot, and so I found community there, and from there I started my NFT journey, started collecting, started learning a whole lot, and it wasn't until maybe like 2-3 months ago where I started to find the websites where I could mint my work for cheap, if not free. And just recently, I started to develop my own smart contracts and what else? And yeah, sell some work, mint some work, have some stuff auctioned off, be kind of more immersed in the NFT community.
And let's talk about how moving into this space has influenced your artwork. So since you have moved into the NFT space, do you find that your artistic process has changed? Anyone?
Yeah, and I can speak to that. I feel like I've definitely worked more towards building a community around my art and building a practice that's more disciplined. Before, I felt like last summer and the kind of post-pandemic years, it felt kind of fuzzy for me, like looking between jobs and just trying to find the best place for my art here, because I moved from Portland, where I was living for about 10 years or so. And once I moved to Atlanta, it was basically a soft reset of my network and everything. So when I got into NFTs, I found out, okay, there's power in community, and using the people who are around you internationally, even to like learn stuff, to gain knowledge, to gain like trading tips. And then not only that, but I also found a site called Pixel Dailies on Twitter, and that is basically a pixel art themed site. And again, that's kind of like the 8-bit, like old school retro Mario vibe. But for me, it's always been something that I connected with as a video game fan and enthusiast and an artist as well. And so when it came to it and like looking at NFTs, I was like, oh, this pixel art stuff, it looks pretty simple and it seems like something fun I could do. And having these daily prompts to do that has not only allowed me to like elevate the art that I'm doing, but also like remain kind of vigilant in my practice and in my business.
Yes, I can somewhat relate as far as like now when I create art, it's changed, but it hasn't changed. Like before Web3, I was focused on community, and now I'm in Web3. I'm focused on community too, but I'm not gonna even front. Like I'm kind of like seeing stuff that like I'm not too hip with, and so it has me just to honestly like go back in my bubble, like which is safe, but it's not always progressive. So I'm just speaking on currently. It's kind of having me go back in my bubble and just like dig deeper into like what I want to what I want to put out, what I want to represent, what I want to create. So I would say like my style of work and my style of art, it hasn't necessarily changed within Web3, but yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Well, in your responses, both of you brought up community, so I'd like to talk about community a little bit. Before we talk about wider community, who wants to tell the story of how the two of you met? Because you're community with each other.
Well, I'll go ahead and tell it. So I lived in Portland as well for 3.5 years, and I'm a community cook, specializing in Afro Creole food, culture, history, heritage. I am Afro Creole, and so with that being said, I also do I did DID Instagram infused meals, and so I'm a music artist as well, so I became well known and popping in the city of Portland. And so with those like two things, that's how I met Jamali within the creative space, within the music space, and the food space. And I believe I met him at I believe I met him at like a music gathering or something of that nature.
Yeah.
And he been a supporter to me, period. Like we as of now we supported each other. Like we've become patrons of each other. I don't know if that's the word, but like, we supported each other. But he started off with the support, like it was off real. And so like I'm one of those people, like I am queer and a part of the community and melanated and all that. So with those things comes like traumas. Then so like with traumas, I'm one of those people who's like I want to see what a nigga gonna do before I move. Like because I know what I'm bringing. I know what I'm gonna give my all. So I gotta see how that's gonna play out on the other person end. And so when I seen that he was, you know what I'm saying, a 10-toe stand-up type of person, I was like, all right, bet I can rock with that. I can rock with that. So yeah, that's been my nigga since.
Hey, facts, yeah. And then just to pick up on that, yeah, Quinn's cooking was amazing, and it wasn't like I just tried it one time. It was like every time that they did the ID Instagram put out put out a blast, saying, "Yo, I got meals ready for this weekend." I was like 9 times out of 10, if I had it, I was definitely supporting, because I think in Portland it's a different scenario being from like in Atlanta or in Louisiana. Like it's the dynamics and the of diversity is completely flipped. Like it's like 2% black folks there, right? It's a really small percent. So to have that like connection and to see people who are actually passionate about their craft and
Right.
and doing it in a holistic way, like that's what my vibe is about. Once I saw that in Quinn, it was like, oh, this is a no-brainer. And then, so maybe like a year or so after knowing each other, they reached out about having me help them with their Brain Dump EP album, which is awesome. Y'all need to go to Spotify and listen to that. But
Real.
Quinn came to me and was like, yo, I got this project coming up. What's it going to be? How can we work this out? And so over like the course of about a year or so, we drafted and like created and collaborated together in order to create like one of my favorite illustration sets that I've made, that I really think like embraces who Quinn is and like what his music is about, and as well as like is a good visual to the accompanying music. So I think like the previous, like it's kind of crazy how it came full circle. We met each other kind of at this musical venue, and then like now here we are circling back
Right.
several years later, furthering that kind of like connection through art, and super dope.
I love that. So obviously community is really important to both of you when it comes to connecting with like-minded people. Do you have the same philosophy when it comes to Web3 and NFT? Do you feel that community is really important?
Yes, I have that same philosophy, which is why I have that same philosophy, comma, which is why when I see it being finesse, when I see it being fake, when I see it being unethical or oppressive things of that nature, it turns me completely off because like I aside from positions of being a community outreach worker, from being a community health worker and health educator like that, before all of those positions, I've been that. And so like when something is in you and it's not on you, and it's like you compete when it's when you compete when it's not what it's supposed to be, that's what turns me off from the aspect of community and Web3, because it has me look at it like, where's the real community?
Do you want to elaborate on that?
I mean, do you have questions for me do you have a question of clarity for me to elaborate on it?
Well, is this specifically around, let's say, like Black Web3 community or outside of that?
It's having to do with the fact of being a Black creative within Web3, being a Black queer creative within Web3, and having DEI marketing. So entities having DEI marketing, but it's not actually being that. Having this whole wag me, we are gonna make it type of marketing mindset. This whole it's about the community marketing mindset, but actually, you know, that's what's mainstream put out there. But when you get into the thick of it and be who we are, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I have to truly find the effort to find my community, or I have to build it myself and create it myself. And it's one of those redundant things that occurs within every atmosphere, within real life, within Web 2, you know what I'm saying? Within Web 3, it's like, yeah. So that's what I mean by that.
I completely understand that. One of my concerns actually about these new spaces, like we get very excited about the potential for communities who have generally been silenced, you know, like finally having this platform, we're able to do these things, but all of a sudden we're recreating the exact same patterns that we've been trying to fight against. I hear that 100%.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Jamali, I'm assuming that community is important to you as well when it comes to NFTs and Web3, correct?
Yeah, it's definitely important. And to touch on what Quinn said, I think it's a shame that the same struggle is evident when this whole like wag me, we're all gonna make it ethos is like in the air, right? And I feel like it's after being in the space for like 6 or 7 months, I've seen how Black projects just don't get the type of love that they deserve. Like just facts. And it's crazy too, because like we make this culture, we purport this culture, we develop new crazy TikTok dances, you know what I'm saying? And here we are on the Web3, and it's people are still like, oh well, an animated monkey is still more valuable than your life, right? It's still more valuable than the artwork that that's an advance. It's still more valuable than whatever you're bringing to the table, and again, it is, you have to double down on your marketing. You have to double down on the people who you keep close to you, and make sure that they're actually allies. And because it's an international community, you have like these different like sectors of allies, and like people in Australia who may not get the plight of Black folks here in America. And so there's like another barrier, but at the same time, it's like when you're able to, what I have seen is when you're able to kind of be your authentic self, and you're able to put out that vibe that just naturally attracts your tribe, you're going to find people who will share your stuff no matter what. You tweet something, it's out there. And I don't know how that directly correlates to value, but I think it doesn't take like 10,000 followers to have a strong community. And I think that's what I've learned is like, if you can have a solid community of 100 people and take care of them, they'll find value in it. But as far as like the wider scope of Web3 taking care of Black folks, it still needs work, because there are amazing African artists, there are amazing Black European artists, there are amazing like projects coming out that I think could use the support and who are trying to do like real world work. So I think it's definitely still it's still early, as we say, but I feel like this type of mentality that doesn't like really embrace or appreciate what we bring to the culture and the ideas that we have should definitely shift.
Yeah. I mean, it's so hard too, because we're always so hopeful that like there's a new opportunity. So here's a chance to do things differently. But I don't know, maybe it's about people so stuck in the way that they've been doing things that they just keep continuing these patterns, or I don't know. It's really hard. I've been spending a lot of time thinking about how do we break out of this, because I mean, it's not just about us supporting each other, right? Like there are only so many of us. It's also about allies and like wider community, and how do we get people to question the way they've been doing things from the beginning of time.
Right.
Exactly.
I want to talk about the specific things that the two of you are up to, your own individual projects. Jamali, you had mentioned about the way that you're educating people and teaching people about art. So tell us about that.
Yeah, so I grew up in Atlanta, and Atlanta has a ton of Black folks, a gang of food, and there's pretty much art everywhere. I mean, ever since I've grown up here in the 90s, it's been from the Olympics to everything. It's always been big public sculptures. It's always been something huge on the wall. So for me, that inspired little Jamali. And ever since I've wanted to paint murals, and about maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I got actually started with that career. And I was like, yo, this is dope. Then I went to college, and I learned that, whoa, hold up, there's a lot of Black creators and Black muralists and Black artists who've been doing it just as long as Picasso or Andy Warhol or whatever, you know, these contemporary artists have been. Like, why do I not hear of them? Like, I went to school and I learned the Black National Anthem, but I don't know, like, who did these, like, major sculptures around the town. So that kind of knowledge gap is what inspired me to teach folks about art history. And at first it started off in the paint and sip kind of form, which I still do. But then it transitioned into mural workshops with kids, which I still do. And then recently it's been back to the kind of paint and sip, kind of wine night vibes. And I'm also doing mural workshops, and then the newest thing I'm doing is pixel art classes. So since I've fallen in love with this sense of like nostalgia and simplicity, it has allowed me to like just teach it. You know, like I know I'm not the top designer, and like I want to make a game and stuff, and I know there's like people above me, but I do know as well that I have some talent, and I'm a pretty good teacher. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm teaching folks how to make pixel art and how to create the stuff that they see in Web3, right? Like CryptoPunks, that's 8-bit art, right? People are buying that for hundreds of thousands of dollars right now. So as we speak, so trading's going on. So it's like, it just makes sense to teach people how to do that, right? If they wanted to do it.
And we can find out more at jamjamart.net, right?
That's right. My website is constantly being updated with all the good news. So that's www.jamjamart.net. And you can find me here on Instagram at pixeljam808. And my Twitter is jamstarx.
All right, Quinn, what about you? What are you working on right now that you want to talk about?
All right, so I have a collection out that is currently out on OpenSea for the Humans collection. For the Humans is a platform created by me, founded by me in 2017. We showcased melanated art, her story, history, their story, culture, through music, photography, ethnography, and other various mediums. So it's on OpenSea. You could it's in my link tree bio as well. I am a music artist, so my music is on streaming platforms that are major, but also within Web3 as well. On Mint Songs. Mint, if you're familiar with Mint Songs, then you know, but Mint Songs is a Web3 platform. What else? Yeah, just a disclaimer, my mind is kind of blank right now, y'all, but like you could go on my page and you could go on my websites. Like I have a Telly website. If you're familiar with Telly, it's a Web3 website. He said, what about aliens? But yes, you go on my Telly website. You can go on my different social medias. My Instagram is this right here. And my Twitter is Quinfos, QUINFOS. And yeah, support queer melanated artists. Like,
Do it.
I appreciate this space and this platform, but it is redundant to have to like plug myself when like all my stuff is out there. You feel what I'm saying? So I say that to humbly say, my work is showcased, my work is out there. I've explained what For the Humans is. Go support me.
Facts. Go do it.
Yeah, at this point, it's like, just do it. Just do it. You can read everything that I'm saying. You can read it because I literally typed it out. So yeah.
Let's talk about hopes for the future. I mean, we've touched on this a little bit. I mean, maybe focusing on what we don't want to happen. But if each of you want to talk about what your hopes are for the future of Web3 or what's coming with NFTs. Whoever wants to go.
My hopes for the future in Web3 is for all resource-deprived communities, historically resource-deprived communities, to be the center of resources, the center of getting what we are owed for thousands of years, for hundreds of years, and focusing on ourselves the most. And what I mean by focusing on ourselves, supporting each other, pulling up to each other's platforms, being able to commune with one another. Like I've already seen how when we intermix on an interpersonal level and we get distracted. As melanated folks, we get distracted very easily, especially when the intermixing is with Caucasian folks who know how to be charming, who know how to market themselves. Yeah, you feel me? So I feel the future of Web3 for us is to be focused on us. Integration is cool, but what about building up your own communities? And that's the focus, because me and Jamali have both stated, but he stated as well, like these Bored Apes and all of that, like these people is buying this for like buku effing ETH, and it's their community of people supporting them. It's awesome RNS stuff. Of course, you have you have the ones who are not white buying into it as well, but a lot of the people are Caucasian people. You know what I'm saying? So we have to not try to catch on the wave and be on their wave, but be on our own wave. So just to end with that, that's how I see the future of Web3, to be on our own waves as melanated creators, as queer creators. We ain't gotta hop on the hottest thing that's mainstream. We could do it ourselves.
Yo, I love that. I feel like what I want to see in Web3, technically, I'd love to see greater interoperability. I'd love to see lower gas fees on ETH. I'd love to see easier, like, smart contract creation for creators. I've run into some trouble on different blockchains. I've solved it, but it's still like I still could use some help. And to that point, I think there are a lot of groups and communities who are working like effortlessly to educate the community on how to do this. So I feel like, for me, I want the future of Web3 to look like we know what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And in the sense of as Black folks out here making projects, it shouldn't feel like, how do I say this? I wanted to feel authentic. I wanted to feel like we're here. I wanted to feel like there's, regardless of what's going on with any Bored Apes or Yuga Labs or anything, like, we know that we've got our people like squared away, right? And so that may take DAOs, that may take grants, that may take all types of different means that the technology has provided. But I feel like the thing I really want to see is, I just want to see just more love for black creators, right? There's so many on Twitter, in the NFT space, who just have huge Instagram followings, but the projects may take months to sell out, right? And that's not a bad thing, but when you look at it compared to like other influencers who may be white, their stuff may fly off, within several hours. And it could be this whole like degen mentality. And I think that's another thing I want to like see the community move out of. It's like this kind of reckless spending mentality. Like it's cool, but we've been there. We've had bubbles burst because we've done that before, right? Like what can we do besides like spending money on crappy projects? Like there's you already know there's somebody in your feed who's doing way doper stuff, but it's like, how do we change the mentality towards like people actually supporting, so that we can get this like whole dream of like decentralized finance? And even if that's not the dream anymore, like I think the dream of like egalitarian finance could be realized if we weren't just throwing away our money and gambling.
You brought up to both of you really good points that are integrated as well as very different. I also am hoping for a lot of changes with the future of Web3, hoping that like our hopes don't get dashed and there's more opportunity for change. Because like I said, I really would like to not see the mistakes we've made in the traditional art community just repeated again. Like let's do something new.
Let's do something new, yes. I do want to, it's a site called, they coming to me, Third Web and Nifty Kit. They are no code smart contract websites or platforms. So for anybody that's watching this, that's gonna watch it, if Manifold is too complicated, because I ain't even, I haven't even opened nothing about Manifold. I went to their website, and that's as far as I've gotten. If that becomes too much, then try out Third Web. They like the more popular one, and Nifty Kid is the other one.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, yes, right on. And then one more is called Bueno. I don't know if it's called Bueno.nft, but if you are out there and you're building a NFT project specifically, like maybe like profile picture or even just like a set of multiples on Ethereum, Bueno is great. It's from the guy, he's a Latin brother, but he made Robotos, which is a pretty prominent project. So a lot of good like support over there.
Thank you for that one too.
And before we jet, can both of you repeat the best ways for people to keep in contact with you and your projects?
Yes, so the best way to keep in contact with me is follow me right now, everybody. Everybody follow us on Instagram right now. And if you look in my bio, I have a link tree. My link tree links you to every website, contact information. Even I'm a journalist, ethnographer, writer as well. So even my writing portfolio and how to get in contact with me about content writing, copywriting, and things of that nature. So check out my link tree. My Twitter is QUINNFOS. Thank you so much for following. And what else? YouTube. My YouTube is Quinn94. So QUIN94. And yeah, everything else is in my link tree.
Right. And for me, you just keep walking on through the Linktree forest, and you can go to my. You like that, Quinn?
Yeah, I had to come in.
In my bio, there is a link, and you can click that. It will take you to my website. My Instagram bio is pixeljam_808. Let's see what else we got here. My Twitter is twitter.com/@jamstarx. No spaces there. What else we got? Oh, my main bay is my www.jamjamart.net. That's pretty much the hub, the gallery. You can get art quotes there. You can find all my shirts there. You can find all my NFTs there. You can find out more about me and like the projects that I've done there. So there's that. Oh, and then the final thing is my Twitch channel, where I host and also store my pixel art classes. So that's twitch.com, and then it's at JamXHam, so Jam and Ham.
Thank you both for joining me today. I really appreciate it. This has been a really good conversation. We do these every few weeks, so if you want to check out the next artist that we're going to be talking to, please come back here. And for both of you, any projects you have coming out, please send my way so I can share on the one-off page.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Bye, everyone.
Yes.
Bye, y'all. Have a great day.